Okay, we're going to be going over sketching and extruding inside of Onshape. So in order to get to Onshape, you're going to type in cad.onshape.com. You're going to log in with your account. On the left hand side here, you see owned by me, recently opened, created by me, shared with me, and teams. Our team can be found under here. If you haven't already, send Ethan and I a message on Band and with your Onshape account email, and we'll add you to the Gravy team. Okay, so we're gonna go up here to this big blue button right here, and we're gonna click create document. It's gonna come up with this prompt. You can name it whatever you want to name it, and we're going to create a new document. So inside of here, this is the primary workspace that we're going to be working inside of. This is a part studio. You'll be creating all of your parts within a part studio. It's best to try and create as many parts within a single part studio as possible. This will help just alignment and making sure things are dependent on one another. The other workspace that we're going to be operating inside of is an assembly workspace. Notice how the toolbar at the top changes. It's very important to know which type of workspace you're in. And so these squares in the middle, these are the planes of the origin. They all intersect at the origin, which is this dot 0, 0. And we can move around. If we go up to this top cube right here, we can move around and navigate around by manipulating this cube, right? We can click on the cube, we can click front, we can click the corner, we can click top, okay? And as you can see, the dot is at the origin of 0, 0. You can also right click, and this will allow you to free rotate. You'll free rotate around the center of your screen, okay? Same thing with zoom. So if I zoom to the center of my screen. I also, well, in reality, I zoom to my mouse. I'm incorrect. So I zoom to my mouse. Okay, so right click allows you to free rotate. Scroll wheel in and out allows you to zoom. You'll be zooming on your mouse, okay? Pressing down your mouse button allows you to drag the screen, okay? These are our primary movement options. Your left click is free and open. Your right click is the rotate, middle mouse button is drag, and then zoom in and out. Okay, so we're gonna go up here to create a sketch. Notice we can create a sketch and it opens this box. Inside of Onshape, everything is box driven. So anytime that there's a user inputted variable, a user inputted object, it's going to come up with this blue little box within your box. So it's asking me for a sketch plane. I'm going to click say front, and you see it made this little box around the front plane. And this is basically the boundaries of our sketch, and it will expand as we expand. So inside the sketch, we have some basic features, right? We're going to ignore the first two for right now and just look at our sketching features. So we have a line. A line, we can select any of the sketching operators by either using the keystroke, which press like L, R in this case, or we can actually go up here and click it. I'll be using both, and I'll try and tell you guys what I'm using as I'm using it. Let me actually open up a keystroke visualizer. See if I have one. I do not. Okay, that's okay. Oh, yeah, so the very first one is the line. So you can select the line tool up here, and then you're going to click once, and then you want to click twice. So that'll allow you to define 1 point and 2 points, right? So when you when you click, you're defining point 1 and then point 2, and it's the line in between. To unselect the tool, you're going to press the escape button. Press the escape button, you exit out of the tool, click on the object, right click, delete sketch entity. Okay, there's different variations. There's you have the rectangle tool, which is R. You have the circle tool, which is C. You have the corner rectangle tool, which is G. Notice how this one has an origin point, this one does not. That can be found by dropping down here. We're going to go back and forth between G and R frequently. The primary keybind is fine. And then notice there's other options for doing a circle. We rarely use ellipses, and we're rarely going to use a 3-point circle. We'll primarily just be using a standard circle. Okay. There's a 3-point arc. This is defined by A. The way that this works is 1 point, 2 point, and then how big the arc is, how shallow or large it is. Okay. We also have the inscribed polygon. This is a unique tool, right? Upon clicking, it operates kind of like a circle. You can see that there's this little yellow bar. This is saying that I'm parallel with the origin. Let's now click again, and it brings up that number 6. And if I move my cursor this direction, it increases the number of faces or vertices. So the minimum you can do is 3. The maximum you can do is 50. Okay. This can be useful if you wanted to do a triangle feature, a square feature, or pentagon, hexagon. We'll primarily use this feature for hexagons, but it's nice to know that others exist. The spline tool, we really don't use this tool at all. This allows you to draw curved splines. Again, we're just not going to use this tool in our day-to-day FRC stuff. Okay, point allows you to just draw a single point vertex. This can be helpful if you need to constrain something. Text allows you to write text in it. So you define the box, and then you write in the box, and then you can constrain the box. Okay. Use or project. This is really important when you have another sketch that you want to reference or use. You will press the U key. You'll select it, press U. Construction. So construction can be used in a number of ways. You can either select an object and hit Q. This will make it construction lines, meaning these lines are not defined and they're not to be manipulated. They're just for reference. Or when you have something selected, say I have G selected to make a rectangle, right? When I have G selected and I press Q, it toggles constructive. So I can make a rectangle in a construction line automatically right out of the box. Okay. The next thing that we'll go over is the colored selections. Notice how when I go one direction, it's blue. When I go the other direction, it's yellow. When I go in the yellow direction, it will select the entirety of anything I touch. When I go in the blue direction, it will only select what I fully contain. This can be really helpful in attempting to select multiple objects rapidly, and you'll get used to the feature. Yellow, if it touches it, it's selected. Blue, if it's contained, it's selected. Okay. The other tools beyond this upright are all going to be modifiers. So the sketch fillet is Shift F. What that does is that fillets this corner. The trim feature allows you to trim away a portion, right? This is M. It allows you to trim from this point to this point. Boom, gone. Just as if you would with scissors. Offset allows you to make an offset of something. Let's say I want to offset this entire box. Boom, boom, boom. Enter. That's what offset does. Mirror does a similar thing. You select the entities to be mirrored, and you select the plane that you're mirroring. So in this case, let me go back, mirror. I'm going to select the mirror line. I'm going to select the origin, okay? And then let's say I do this, boom, 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 mirrored. Okay, I'm going to select that. I'm going to delete that. All right. Then we have linear pattern and circular pattern. These allow you to make linear patterns and circular patterns. We're going to kind of skip these and we'll come back to them later. We're also going to skip inserting images or DMGs. Dimensioning. This is one of the ways, this is the primary way in which we constrain a sketch. Right now, all the sketches are blue and they're able to be moved, they're able to be dragged. This is the primary way that we are going to constrain things. D for dimension, and then we're going to select this circle. Let's say this is a 5-inch circle. Oops. Say it's a 5-inch circle. And let's say this is going to be a 2-inch square. Okay. These are all methods of dimensioning. I can select this. See, this is 2-inch line, but if I select this one now I'm selecting the distance between the two lines. And I can make this 3 inches. Okay? Now, the very next tool is coincide. English. And what this does is this is I. This allows you to select a point and apply it to another point. So I selected the middle of the circle, this vertex right here, and I selected the origin. Notice how the circle went to black when I did that. This means that the object is fully constrained. Okay? And this can be really important to sketching. Before we finish the sketch, we should have all portions of the sketch fully constrained. Concentric. This is another good one. Concentric, let's say I had this 4-inch, and I wanted these to be concentric with one another. What this means is one is going to go inside of the other. And then let's say I then define the origin here. Both move. Boom. All right. The next one is parallel. Let's say these two are parallel. They are, in fact, parallel. Okay. Now tangent. Let's make this tangent with this. Boom. Notice how it turned to black. Horizontal. This is another good one. Say that's horizontal. Vertical. Say this is vertical. Perpendicular. Equal. Equal is a really interesting phenomenon, right? I'm going to use the equal. This is E on the keyboard. I'm going to use the equal for this one and this one. And then I'm going to use it for this one and this one. You see what happened there? Okay. Now, I can still move up and down, but my size has been confined. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to constrain this point here, or I can constrain this here. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna constrain this to the plane. Boom. Now this is still free motion, right? Let's say we just define this as 2.5. Okay, now we only have one more plane of motion to define. And then let's say horizontally from the origin, this is 3. Now all of our features are black and we're good to go. Okay. Oh, this is a good example right here. So I have this circle feature right next to this square feature. Notice how I used the blue. This allows me to select only things that are fully contained. Likewise, if I used yellow, I've now selected this outside. All right, so now we're gonna just delete that. We'll just stick with this circle. So when you're finished with a sketch, what you're gonna do is you come up here and you're gonna press the green check mark. Notice how I now have a sketch on that plane. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our next feature. Our next feature is gonna be a extrusion. And for just a real quick thing, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. I'm gonna make a different one. I'm gonna do a rectangle. And we're gonna define this rectangle as 1 inch wide. What I'm doing here is I am making a 2x1. Boom. 2x1, right? 2 inches tall, 1 inch wide, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press Shift E. This brings up extrude, also clickable here. Shift E, boom, I'm gonna select. Notice how it has a face and sketch regions to extrude. I'm gonna select my sketch region. Oh, and you can see it has a preview of the extrusion. Okay, we're extruding 1 inch. This is a really interesting tab. So you can either create a new part, you can add to the part, you can remove, or you can take the intersection of the two parts. Hi, baby kitty. Okay, and then the end type is blind, up to face, up to next, up to part, up to vertice, or all the way through. And then directions. And so let's say I want to make a 30-inch chassis rail. I'm going to type 30 into the depth. Notice how it just like went totally off screen, but I want it centered. So I'm going to go symmetrical and go both directions, keep this at the origin. I'm going to click OK. So now I have this, but this is not good enough. I want to be able to make all of my parts in one part studio. So what should I do? I can go back to this sketch, right, where I defined the origin. I can take a look at these coincided, and I can remove them. English is not my best subject in life. All right, so now I have, whoops. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to delete this. And I'm just going to go out here. I'm going to do this. Oops, that's not what I want to do. 1, enter. Oops. 2, enter. Boom. Okay. Now I just have to define the distance away, right? Let's say it's half my robot width. We'll just say this is 30 inches for right now. Oh, 30 inches divided by 2 because we want it to be halfway. All right. Oops. Nope. 30 inches divided by 2. 15 inches. Perfect. That's what we wanted. Okay, so now it's away from the origin. This is good. okay? We're going to fix this sketch. It highlighted itself red because it broke the sketch, right? And it gave me a little warning. It says extrusion could not generate properly, missing one of the selections. I double click it. It's missing the sketch from face 1. Okay, I just delete. I reselect it. Boom. Now we're good. So, why might this be useful? Well, now we've created this off and free space, which is good. Okay, we're going to click done. We have this solid square block. Where do we go from here? Well, I'm going to talk about that in the next video, but we're going to just throw some of that versaplanetary motion and boom, done. This is going to be our first feature script that we learn. Tube generator.